I'm wearing my hat because it's a bit snowy in outside the writing shed today. Yes, Kamikaze was making Norbert the Nutjob really, really mad. Norbert turned as red as tomato and launched himself at the two young Vikings, howling like a dog. The swords flashed together in and out, lunge and parry. Norbert was a terrifying opponent, with his sword in one hand and his axe swiping in the other. Even though they were young, as you can see, Hiccup and Kamikaze were a formidable fighting duo. Who knows what would have happened if Toothless hadn't taken it into his head to be helpful. As you know that we've been reading these books, Toothless's idea of being helpful is often not very helpful. Toothless grabbed Norbert's Big Mac of America from the table in his tent and flapped unsteadily like a large ungainly moth over to the scene of the fight. He hovered for a second over Hiccup, Kamikaze and Norbert, and then shook his head as he dropped the map so it spread out nicely as it fell and floated gently onto the head of Norbert the Nutjob, covering him from the top of his helmet to the bottom of his midriff like a mysterious lady of the eastern deserts. "Oh, well done, Toothless!" Toothless congratulated himself, clapping his wings together in ecstasy of excitement. "Nice swooping!" The deck heaved violently on the swell of a wave. Norbert staggered, trying to regain his balance, but with a map upon his head, he couldn't see where he was going. He lurched violently to the left and then wildly to the right, bashing into Red Ronald, still pedalling faithfully away on the stop their boat from sinking and scare away the big sea creature's machine with such force that Red Ronald, and most importantly, the machine, the creaky, cranky little machine that had by some extraordinary chance held together all this way, fell over the rim of the boat and into the sea. There was a mighty pause. "Oh, Toothless," moaned Hiccup, his head over his eyes. They were so close to America that it had ceased to be a pale grey outline and was a long swoop of white beach, with great grey waves crashing upon the shoreline and trees above, and you could even see tiny little mysterious figures moving upon the sand. But now the machine was no longer giving out that unbearable high-pitched noise. The sea dragon on the horizon, the sea dragon everybody had forgotten about in the heat of the fighting, was finally released, and with a mighty terrible shriek it shot towards the boat. Having regained his balance, Norbert took the map off his head and blinked twice, first at the spot where the machine had disappeared over the rim of the boat, then as the truly gigantic dragon moved purposely towards them. Nobody was fighting now. Redheads, blondes, lunatics, all had recognised a greater danger and were crouching down on the deck in fear. "Here it comes!" shouted somebody. Well, you never know though. I mean, if Toothless hadn't done that, who knows what might have happened. Maybe they would have beaten Norbert. Maybe they wouldn't have done. So anyway, but at the moment, chapter 17, they are in trouble again. It's called The Leviathorgan Strikes. I'll just read the beginning of it because I think we've got time. The hysteric nearest to Hiccup fell to his knees, gasping, "Lord, save us!" All they could see of the creature were the spines on its back, drawing closer and closer and closer in the water. It was aiming straight for the boat. But at the very last moment, it changed direction and swam alongside it, and it was only then that they realised how truly enormous it was. It was immense. As the dragon passed the boat, it rolled slightly onto its side, and one terrible yellow reptilian eye stared at Hiccup, pinpointing him, picking him out. There's a curious expression in that eye of intelligent humour mixed with the purest fury. It was as if it hadn't forgotten the incident in the ice cave, and something in that eye seemed to say, "You're going to pay for that, boy, and I'm going to enjoy it. You can't get away from him now." And then it moved on, muscles rippling as it swam sinuously as a panther through the water. It swam so close to the boat that it was almost as if it was showing off how big it was. That long, glorious back with the cruel, primeval spikes went on, it seemed like forever. "Oh, for Thor's sake," thought Hiccup, his heart in his mouth. "It must be twice, no, nearly 3 times as long as this boat." It was a Leviathorgan, all right. Like all the ancient sea dragons, it had probably been alive since the age of the dinosaurs and had the look of something dug up from the past. Blackened crustacea festooned its spiny armour like rust. Parts of its body were so encrusted with coral and trailing with long twists of seaweed that it was like a living, moving reef. The heart-stoppingly huge length of the Leviathorgan swam beside the boat, and then it turned away and swam on past them and disappeared below the water, the casual, contemptuous flip of its tail, creating such a great white, washing, power powerful wake that it swamped the deck with a wave that covered their knees. Where's it gone? Many voices called out the same question from the ship. There'd been a look in that dragon's giant eye, which Hiccup had seen in the expression of toothless when he had cornered something smaller than himself, like a mouse or a rabbit. Okay, and then the last illustration on the page says, we're going to need a bigger boat. I have to find out what happens to